It's May in the Hill City, which means one thing. It's playoff time for ODAC Lacrosse. The 14th ranked Lynchburg Hornets welcome the Maroons of Roanoke for a semifinal showdown and a chance to take on Washington and Lee in the championship. These two sides met earlier this season on April 5th, which was the ODAC game of the year. By many perspectives, a 19-18 finish, a win for the Hornets that had late game dramatics. And these two teams, they have been neck and neck all season long. We'll take a look at how they match up on paper. And you can see Roanoke with one of, if not the most explosive offenses in the entire nation. First in the country in scoring offense, second in assists, top 5 in all categories all over the place. Meanwhile, Lynchburg, they've been dominant with their clear percentage on both sides of it, specifically with their riding, ranking top 5th in the nation for opponent clear percentage and dominant at X. That'll be a big time factor here today as Riley Frankel will take center stage at the center circle and try and do what he's been doing all season long. If the season ended today, Frankel would finish second in the record books for highest face-off percentage in a single season. This contest loaded with talent. We'll first hit on the Roanoke Maroons. Obviously, when you've got an offense with such high potency, you're going to have a whole lot of playmakers. But the first man of attack is number 41, Luke Cameraman. The fifth-year player leads the conference in points this season with 71, a three-time All-ODAC first-team selection, and the 2023 ODAC Player of the Year had 4 goals, while his brother had 6. The Cameraman Bros combining for 10 goals in the first game against Lynchburg. We'll step aside momentarily for the playing of the national anthem. Stick with us here on LHSN.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
And we welcome you back into the broadcast booth. An ODAC semifinal showdown between the Maroons of Roanoke and the Lynchburg Hornets. We talked a little bit about what this Roanoke offense has to offer. But for Lynchburg, their offensive rhythm is picked up as well, averaging 17 goals this season. And a big man that's been spearheading that charge has been Riley Hastings, who has heated up, to say the least. The team leader in points with 53 this season, and great balance with both scoring and distribution with 27 goals and 26 assists. Had a season-high 5 goals when these two squads faced off in the regular season. He's someone that's already etched his name into the record books, sitting at 8th all-time for career assists already in his junior campaign.
Sophomore defender from Pottstown, Pennsylvania, number 55, Brandon Solomon. And in goal, a freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina, number 33, Chris.
With that, let's walk you through the starting lineups for today's matchup. First, for the Roanoke Maroons. Chris Schwartz gets the nod between the pipes, the freshman keeper that took over the charge in the crease just 4 games ago. And Weston Hammond, Logan Sullivan, and Brandon Solomon on the defensive end. Julian Cameraman, Patrick Cullen, Wyatt Whitlow at the midfield, and Jack Savory, Clayton Bruick, and Luke Cameraman for the attackmen of Roanoke. Now we'll walk you through the starting 10 for Lynchburg. Andrew Miller, the day one keeper in his senior season for Lynchburg, looks to continue his success alongside Sam Seal, Connor Harlacher, and Kyler Mahoney, and that first line of midfielders in Grant Voigt, Liam Holman, and Jake Rust, with the attackmen of Riley Hastings, Spencer Vandenberg, and Finn Schmidt. This is a matchup that showcases a whole lot of experience at the helm with both sides. Bill Pilot leading the charge for the Roanoke Maroons. Over 400 wins in his collegiate tenure with Roanoke. That's that last season, 7th most wins all time across all divisions of lacrosse. He's been the goalie whisperer, a guy that graduated from Roanoke in '85 as a 3-time All-American and a 2-time ODAC Player of the Year. He has the most saves in program history, and he's coached 6 of the 9 other players in that top 10. He's someone that's put a whole lot of faith in Schwartz between the pipes. We'll see how it bodes for them here today. And on the other side for Lynchburg in his 29th season, head coach Steve Kadelka running things for Lynchburg, a 10-time ODAC champion, looking to go for 11 this season. 1 game away from punching their ticket for a date with the Washington and Lee Generals. Washington and Lee and Randolph-Macon on the other side of the bracket just finished up about 30 minutes ago. It was a big-time win for Washington and Lee. They trailed 5-3 at halftime, a low-scoring affair, and escaped with a 10-8 victory. The stage has been set. It's the 3rd season in a row that these two teams are facing off in the ODAC semifinal. Lynchburg has gotten the best of Roanoke in both of those affairs, and in fact bodes a 10-game winning streak over Roanoke that goes all the way back to 2010. You got a whole lot of 5th years on this Roanoke squad that are looking to take down Lynchburg for the first time in their collegiate tenure. When I talked to Coach Pilot yesterday before this game, he said that's not something we talk about in the locker room. There are teams, I should say, that we've beaten time and time again. We don't address that. We don't address it when there's this kind of monkey on our back. And today, both sides ready to take this stage. Frankel at the center circle. And it's won by the Maroons. A big-time victory for the freshman out of King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, Ryan Becker. Jake Brader, the sophomore face-off man for the Maroons, went down in that Hampton-Sydney game a few weeks ago. Ever since then, it's been the freshman Becker really spearheading that attack. A guy that was highly touted out of high school, broke his high school face-off win record, and earns the Maroons the first possession of the night. Patrick Cullen sweeping across the top of the box. A good chunk right there from a white jersey. Now Harlacher with good defense. A lift check forces the turnover, and Mahoney comes out of the pack with possession. Now Lynchburg looks to change the field. Advance to the short stick defensive mid, Seeley. Seeley on the doorstep. Seeley, his 15th goal of the year, and strikes first in the semifinal. He's a guy that was recruited here to be an offensive player, a first-team All-State selection in high school. Suffered and battled through some injuries the last couple of years here in the white and red, and this season he's been red hot. Early movement, possession, Roanoke, 2 quick wins. You've got a guy like Frankel that's winning at a 63% clip, going against a freshman that's won 35% of his faceoffs this year, almost directly flipped. Nevertheless, Roanoke with early success from the center circle. Lynchburg out in man defense. You got to be ready for them to switch it up and provide different looks. Washington and Lee through zone at the Maroons for 3 quarters, as there's a big time stop from the brick wall in Miller. Back at X is Wyatt Whitlow. Coming off a 6-goal performance against Shenandoah, and he gets pile drived into the deck. Cole Zacharias in 4-wheel drive. Flips it back, but the pass was offline. And a turnover for the Hornets. Schwartz will walk it up. Julian Cameraman lost possession momentarily, got it right back. Still being harassed, caught in a torture chamber, and turns it over. Finn Schmidt takes it to goal line, extended on the near side, rolls back to his left hand. And he'll settle. Gives it up to Holman. This is a Lynchburg team whose offense has really run through that midfield unit this season. A 3-headed monster of Holman, Voigt, and of course the All-American in Jake Rust. Holman, the lefty, loses possession. Luke Meadows, the long stick, scoops it up. Now the quarterback, Voigt, will orchestrate the offense. Holman once again trying to get to that left hand. Now Voigt, far side of the field. 30 on the shot clock. Finn Schmidt doing some dancing. Drives in, shots offline. Backed up by Holman. Holman guarded by Rieger. Takes it around, plays it back. Finn Schmidt with it once again. 10 on the shot clock. They feed Hastings, curling around the crease. Hastings extends the Lynchburg lead. The Hornets firing on all cylinders in the opening 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and the sidelines loving it. His 28th goal this year. Another face-off win for the Maroons, 3 for 3 today. Albertson plays it for Cameraman, guarded by Harlacher. Now in the stick of the younger brother Julian, over for Patrick Cullen. Cullen with 5 goals in the last 5 games. He showed a whole lot of consistency. Bruick down the right alley, spinning back on Seeley. Sidearm shot stopped once again by Miller. Sam Steele picks up the rebound, and the Hornets now will try and clear. Here's Holman. As I'm now joined by color commentator extraordinaire Chris Jennings. Welcome to the press box, Chris. We've had some early offense.
Yeah, I know. It's been a great showing. Obviously, that defensive made goal from Seeley sparks the Hornets, and then another great finish by Hastings.
Holman spinning back to his left, dishes it off for Rust on the far side of the field. Double team comes, gets it out of his stick, Finn Schmidt. Trying to get loose, physical defense played by Carson Keaton. Back underneath for Hastings. Working against Hammond. The high rising shot Goes out of play, but a beautiful backup by Voigt to maintain possession with 16 on the shot clock.
And that's a ball that Roanoke should have had. They were closer, but the extra effort by Voigt does a great job getting the ball back for the Hornets.
Voigt working against DJ Nolan. Curls around the crease, and Schwartz just got a piece of that one. Shot clock will reset to 60. Rust has his shot deflected. Hastings once again controls the rebound. The Maroons in a zone. Both of these sides are going to throw everything they've got defensively out in this game after the fireworks we saw in game one. Rust off the pipe, out of play.
Goalie's best friend gets the save there. Russ had him beat to the top right corner, but can't go in unless you don't beat the goal.
And you remember last time we were here, Alex Fuhrer was the man in the crease for the Maroons. A midseason change between the pipes. And Coach Pilot had really great things to say about Coach Chris Schwartz, you know, saying it wasn't necessarily a play thing as Jake Rust slots it through a machete for the third goal of the day.
And this is a great job by the Hornets. Lefty goalie, something that you're not necessarily used to. Obviously, the Hornets are fortunate that Andrew Miller is a left-handed goalie, so they see it quite often during practice, but when you're scouting, 75–80% of the time you're going against a right-handed goalie, and I think something to be taken notice is that 3 early goals to take the Hornets up. Obviously, the left-handed goalie isn't throwing them off too much.
Early movement once again. This time it's the Maroons, the first face-off win today for Lynchburg. But as we were talking about Schwartz, I mean, obviously a freshman really thrown into the fire towards the back half of the year. He's started the last 5 games and had some really impressive games in there. I should say that the W&L game especially had 13 saves with a 60% save percentage, which really stands out. But, I mean, he's a guy that's just a vocal leader. He knows the game of lacrosse really well. His dad played lacrosse at Ohio Wesleyan. His uncle, Dave, played at Yale. So this is obviously a lacrosse family that runs deep. But right now the Hornets are seeing the net like it's a soccer goal. Everything's going through. But will it stand? Yes, it will. Kobe Hong, his 5th goal of the year.
And that's a great job by Colby. He saw Roanoke start transitioning from that man into the zone, saw the opening, and even though he kept it in his right hand, he saw the opportunity to just go right in, finishes there, also draws the penalty. Obviously, it gets wiped out, but still, either way, it was either going to be a goal or a penalty.
An explosive start here in the opening 7 minutes, and the Hornets leading by 4 at home.
Welcome to the Campus Recreational Department at the University of Lynchburg. We believe in a student-centered approach to recreation, making sure that all students have fun and engaging activities that promotes wellness, personal growth, and community building.
Our team works to provide a variety of recreation opportunities for all our undergrad and graduate students.
Let's take a look at the different areas of Campus Rec.
Campus Recreation covers all outdoor recreation. Our team offers dozens of trips per semester, maintains recreation facilities on campus, and offers outdoor certificates and leadership training.
Intramurals is open to all students who wants to play on a team. We have men's, women's, and co-ed leagues for each sport we offer.
Those looking for next level competition can join club sports. These are student-led organizations with the support of Campus Recreation. You can join one of our established club sports, or you can start your own with our support.
Campus Recreation offers an excellent amount of opportunities to stay active, make new friends, and develop new skills. We hope to see you soon.
And we welcome you back into the Hill City, where we've had a whole lot of Lynchburg offense to start off this affair. Hornets up by 4 with 4 different goal scorers. Well, Roanoke has really controlled the face-off circle, but not since the last 2. Pass goes awry to Miller, just trying to get it out of bounds so we can get back into the crease.
And Frankel's got to be able to make that quick pass back to the goalie, something that they work on constantly during practice, is winning it out the back and hopefully getting it.
Another big-time save by Miller. A whole lot of daylight for Wyatt Whitlow. But Miller stands tall in front of the ODAC's leader in goals this season.
And Joe, something to be interesting is that last time these two teams played, Roanoke sort of jumped on Lynchburg real quick, something that we had seen a couple times throughout March and February against the Hornets. But with them going down 4-0 early in the game, does that get into their head? Hey, we're not seeing the ball go into the net very often. Is Andrew Miller just not going to be able to be beat today?
Yeah, and these are two squads that have so many different factors in winning today's game. As you take another look at this stop from Miller, it's two teams that really sit right on the bubble for the NCAA tournament, where just a win today could really bolster your resume and chance of getting an at-large bid if things don't go your way in the championship. Rust can't see it all the way through, but a big-time ground ball by Hastings once again, who's been everywhere today for Lynchburg. But both these teams not only just want to beat each other, but you also want another crack at W&L. Both teams lost to W&L this season by just 1 goal.
Yeah, and obviously this being a huge rivalry game, neither of these teams have really talked about Washington Lee or Randolph-Macon, but they know what's at stake with this game alone.
Turnover by the Hornets. It all got started with a check from DJ Nolan. His 13th caused turnover this year. This is a D-Midi group that's gotten a lot healthier. Steele with a big-time ricochet.
And that's a great job, knowing that Steele and Mahoney are going to have to sort of, they may give up a lot of 3-on-2s because of Harlacher sort of pressing on cameraman, making his life real difficult for him to get the ball because they know they're going to want to distribute it to him.
Cullen gets through and once again stopped by Miller, playing like a man possessed. Now Finn Schmidt will slow things down, takes it to GLE, underneath to X for Vandenberg. Vandenberg gets his hands free, and Brody Mason will reset at midfield. Brody Mason, a really physical player. Had a season-high 5 goals against Averett a couple weeks ago. He's really gotten things moving in the latter portion of this season. It really started in that Roanoke game where he scored. Hogg dancing on the outside.
And this is interesting. They obviously want to get cameraman off the ball, being more of that offensive threat.
Back up top, Brody Mason, top right corner. Yes, sir.
Great job by Hogg, sort of taking advantage of cameraman being stuck on the offensive end. Sort of they go to double him, he gets through, and obviously right from there, you're going to see the opportunity for him to move it one more, and it's going to be an odd man situation.
5-0 Lynchburg out in front with an emphatic sidearm shot coming out of the stick of Mason.
And Brody Mason's done a real great job this year, sort of taking that leap from freshman to sophomore year. He sort of has that Jake Russ on the second line, that righty sniper who loves to be physical.
Quick stick from Meadows off the pipe. Luke Meadows, not someone that shoots it often, but when he does, he is extremely efficient. 3 shots this season up until that one, all of which were on goal, and 2 of them went through.
Yeah, and obviously that one, once again, they beat the goalie, just happens to hit the post there.
Shot clock reset to 55. 4:54 to go here in the first frame. Hastings working against the pole. Gets past Hammond. A nice save by Schwartz.
And that one was a little rushed by Hastings. Maybe not the best shot for him. And we'll see if that gets Hammond sort of the confidence to get back into this one.
Caught in a straight jacket on the near sideline. 3 white jerseys all around him, just looking for some help. Ball still loose. Sam Steele scoops it off the deck. Talk about the defensive pressure, Chris. Oh, big hit! And he's still going after him on the ground. That was dirty. Oh, my goodness. You don't need to see that. It was a clean hit with the shoulder from Cameraman. That was perfectly fine. He steamrolled him. But it was the whacking that came right after when the ball was loose. That'll be a 2-minute penalty. We'll take another look. I mean, you can clearly see it's out. And he's still going after him, and then a couple of words.
Nice thing is, it didn't look like he took a swing at the
Yes,
Lynchburg
yes.
player. It was at the stick, so not tremendously dirty. Great hit. Obviously, if you're Cameraman, you're a very skilled player. You're trying to make that spark play to get the Maroons rolling. He's just got to know that the ball after that hit is out, and you got to let him be.
It certainly looked more malicious from our standpoint versus when we look at the replay, and you can see there was a clear intention. He was going after the stick despite the ball not being there. But from where we're standing and where the official was standing that threw the flag, it did not look very friendly. Nevertheless, a 2-minute penalty. Lynchburg a man up. Holman plays it around. Lynchburg this season scoring on 41% of their man-up opportunities, while the Maroons have held teams to 45%. Inside, Charlie Evans lost it, rolled back to Finn Schmidt. Ball still free. Physicality for the ground ball. It's a fight. Who wants it? Hammond trying to keep it in play. The lefty Evans picks it up, and a bounce pass over for Hastings.
That's a great job by Evans. Getting the ball out and just trying to get it to space. Hastings is there to pick it up. I thought maybe a little bit of a force to Evans there on the crease.
Rust, no-look pass to Finn Schmidt. Gets tipped away. Ball's free. A fight for the loose ball. Picked up by the Maroons. A big-time scoop by DJ Nolan. Now Cameraman out and running across the timeline. Dish is over for Wyatt Whitlow, who scored in every game this season, including 12 multi-goal games.
And it looks like the Maroons will be able to kill off the rest of this penalty with about 10 seconds remaining. It will take them down to 35 seconds on the shot clock. We'll see. That'll be a little bit faster pace, which maybe that's what Roanoke needs to do, is just get into that, like, let's go and score mentality.
Cameraman back into the contest. And the Maroons at full strength. Julian for Luke. A 2-man game. Near side for Patrick Cullen. Double team comes, makes him retreat. 10 on the shot clock. Julian Cameraman doing some dancing. Now for his brother. 5th save of the day from Andrew Miller.
It's going to be interference on Harlacher. He just got caught in the wrong position there. Unfortunate for the Hornets.
The Hornets now have to hustle back to get set defensively. Shot clock fully reset. Inside dish. Beautiful play from Harlacher to deflect the shot away.
Hornets sort of got away with one there. Cameraman didn't see Whitlow with the shorty on him. It looked like he was calling for the ball, just never got it to him.
Cullen near side of the field. Plenty of time to work with. Meadows switches on to Cameraman. And the Maroons will play it from X. This is where you see a whole lot of that off-ball movement. Trying to find a cutter, nothing there, shut down on the inside. Underneath, quick pass, quick shot, big time save. Ball still loose. Miller scooped it up once again, and the collision on the inside was called a hold on Lynchburg. Self-inflicted wounds from the Hornets, keeping possession on this side of the field. 1 minute to go. Cullen can't get past Miller. Julian cameraman. Stopped by Miller. Ben Feintuck on the sideline almost had a one-handed grab. Shot clock essentially turned off. 51 seconds to go in the first quarter. 60 on the shot clock. Kudelka wants timeout. He's got to be pleased with his man in the crease right now, Chris.
Absolutely. I mean, Andrew Miller is absolutely standing on his head. Sort of that playoff type atmosphere. You know, goalies have the opportunity to completely change games. Andrew Miller has gone bonkers today and has kept the door shut on the Roanoke. Kudelka's calling the timeout in hopes of getting guys a chance for them to be saved.
We'll step aside momentarily. Stick with us on LHSN.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and road course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
And we welcome you back into the Hill City. It's 5-0 Lynchburg out in front with 51 seconds to go in the first 15. Roanoke has had possession for the last 2.5 minutes. Trying to capitalize and find their first goal of the contest.
And it looks like they're going to throw a set play here. Maybe look for one last one in hopes of getting a spark going into the end of the quarter.
Whitlow working on Steele. Across the top of the box with his right hand. Gets it past Miller. Roanoke with their first goal of the ODAC semifinal. Makes it a 4-goal deficit.
And you want to know, like, the only way to beat a goalie who's standing on his head to have an absolute perfect shot, and Whitlow did that right there. Steals right on his hand, and he's able to put it right into the top corner. Great shot by Whitlow.
Well, we told you he'd scored in every game this season. That'll be a trend. 50 goals this year for the fifth-year attackman out of Salem, Virginia. Had a big game against Lynchburg in early April as well. Had 5 goals and 2 assists. Him and the Cameraman brothers combined for 15 total goals of the 18 Maroon.
Lynchburg with low time here.
Vandenberg on the doorstep right outside the goal. Oh my goodness. Banging on the deck, you can see the frustration. A beautiful opportunity, but Lynchburg can't capitalize and find the response right before the break. Nevertheless, you got to feel good if you're Coach Kudelka head into the second quarter leading by 4.
I was really attracted to Lynchburg primarily because my dad went here. He is an alum, so I kind of had that close tie of being interested in the school. And the school had what I wanted to study. I knew I wanted to help people in the area of health and wellness, so the health promotion program was definitely a program that drew me in. And from day one, I've been in love with it, and I wouldn't have chosen any different. I have never had better professors or teachers in my life, and I think here at the University of Lynchburg, the professors definitely care about their students, especially in the health promotion department. These professors want you to be educated, want you to have the experience, and just want you to feel confident going into your career path following your collegiate education. You just feel like you're cared for here and that you matter, and that no matter what, at the end of the day, you're going to be successful, and the people here really want to be here, and everyone has a purpose, and it's just a great environment to be in.
And we welcome you back into Schellenberger Field on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. Joe Brennan, Chris Jennings, and a 5-1 ball game through 15 minutes. Somewhat more of a defensive battle than we're accustomed to seeing between these two sides. Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. Last time these teams played, 6-4, 10 goals in the first quarter. This time, almost half the amount of goals. However, your Coach Kudelka, you've got to be thrilled. If you're Coach Pilot, you put this guy in the net because you're a goalie whisperer. You know what it takes to win games like this. He's going to have trust, and he's just got to tell his goalie, settle down, everything's going to be good. Start seeing the ball, making that first step.
And we mentioned these two teams have played in the last two ODAC semifinals. Last year's final score was 12-6 Lynchburg. The Hornets will start with possession here in the second quarter. It's Seeley on the far side of the field, who's already got one transition goal today. Seeley will bring it over for the preseason second-team All-American Jake Rust, who has had a phenomenal fifth-year campaign, second in the conference for goals, just one behind Wyatt Whitlow. Voigt left him in the dust. Help came quick. Not much he could do with it. Holman rolls back, right over for Voigt. Patient offense from Lynchburg to begin the second frame. Holman down the right alley. On the doorstep, Finn Schmidt can't punch it through.
That's the second time that Lynchburg's had that back door wide open.
Holman, shake and bake!
That is a great job by Holman. He knows that he wants to get to his left hand. The previous dodge, he goes down the alley to set him up for this second dodge. When the ball gets back to him, he's able to get to his strong side, top side, and is able to just bury it from there.
I mean, he's certainly a strong lefty, but every defender needs to play him like he's ambidextrous.
Yeah, and the thing that if you're Roanoke, you got to know that you got to break down. Just classic mistake. And a great player like Holman's going to make you pay every time.
Fortunately, he got broken down. In transition, Franco let it fly, and a late flag comes in. Laundry on the field. This one will go against the Maroons in the second man-up opportunity for Lynchburg today.
And we'll see if Lynchburg has a better man-up play coming into this one. First one, they really turned it over. Didn't get any shots on the first man-up opportunity. If you're Roanoke, are you saying, hey, like, Frankel's starting to get on a roll? If he's going to take that shot, you got to make sure that he knows we're there coming down, so maybe next time he thinks twice about it. However, you obviously don't want to see any dirty plays, just a little bit of a late hit there.
No, this is a game where we're going to see a lot of physicality, and I'm sure that's something that each respective coach stressed after the offensive clinic that both sides put on in the first game. the only way to really simmer that down is bring up the intensity on the other side of the field. Rust, big time stop by Schwartz. A chase down for the shot, and Rust comes away with possession.
Not Rust's best shot there, but obviously going to make Coach Kudelka happy with diving to the end line, something that he really stresses throughout the year, taking that toughness play and bringing it to the game.
Those corners on the Roanoke defense really playing up. Lynchburg just trying to squeeze something inside, waiting for the door to open. Rust once again didn't watch it all the way through. The second time he's had that happen today, and once again one of his attackmen bail him out. The feed for Evans intercepted by DJ Nolan. The Hornets 0 for 2 on man-up opportunities. And Roanoke right back to even numbers.
If you're Roanoke, you got to be real happy with how your man down has played. A couple times last game, Lynchburg took advantage. We'll see what happens now.
Out in transition and punching it through, Blake Rieger.
It's a great job by the goalie. He gets a save. Now he's going to try to help himself out. He's letting in a couple goals. He's going to try to push transition, gets the assist there.
All got set up by the freshman Schwartz, finding the freshman Rieger, the midfielder out of Elmhurst, Illinois. And he's someone that Pilot and his coaching staff have given a whole lot of praise. He's really come a long way, especially as a passer throughout the back half of this season. He has all 8 of his assists have come in the last 8 games. 2 flags down on the field. Lynchburg awaiting a man-up opportunity. They're going to see if they can get something out of it before a blown whistle.
I think all three referees saw the same thing there.
Oh, you're right, 3 flags, not 2.
Zacharias falls down, sort of unfortunate for Roanoke.
Backdoor cut. Hastings can't get it all the way in. Kept alive by Voigt. Vandenberg curling around. Vandenberg capitalizes the response. And Lynchburg back out in front by 5.
Great hustle play by Grant Voigt there, knowing that if Roanoke picks up the ball, it's going to be an automatic whistle. Dives to try to save it, give the Hornets another chance with flags down. Vandenberg's able to make the Roanoke's Maroons pay.
There is so much that Grant Voigt does for this Lynchburg team that does not show up on this stat sheet. As you take another look at the big-time goal from Vandenberg. And we go back to talking about Voigt, a guy that has only 20 goals and 4 assists this year. Pardon me, that's last year. This year he's got 14 goals, 9 assists. If you're looking at the box score, you would think, all right, this is a guy that, you know, he's a big piece in what they do, but how much does he really produce? And those are the kind of plays that really separate him from a lot of other players in this conference.
Absolutely. I mean, he took his 5th year for a reason. And Coach Kudelka was thrilled with the idea of him coming back. Obviously, he's battled through a couple injuries throughout his career, but knowing that you have sort of that calming presence and someone that's going to do whatever it takes to win. Grant Voigt's been to the quarterfinals twice. He wants another chance to make a run in the national tournament. He wants another ODAC championship.
I'm sure both these sides are looking for a ticket to the championship. Pilot and company are going to head back to the drawing board as they take time out. We'll step aside momentarily on LHSN.
Be ready for anything, okay?
Come on, let's go together. Together, let's go. Come on. Let's go, keep going.
There is pedestrian.
Straight?
Straight up, yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Good one.
All right, guys, you see the meat grinder down here?
7-2, Lynchburg out in front. Everybody trying to capture the moment as it's been a big-time clash here today. Joe Brennan, Chris Jennings on behalf of the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Spencer Vandenberg just found his first goal of the afternoon for Lynchburg. It has really been offensive play by committee for Lynchburg thus far. And after a really successful start from Ryan Becker in the center circle, Riley Frankel's starting to find his rhythm as well, Chris.
Absolutely. I think that if you get Frankel to go, it's going to be that make it, take it mentality. And obviously with this man-up opportunity, that's a huge win for Frankel.
I mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. If the season ended today, Frankel would etch his name in the record books with his second highest single-season face-off win percentage. Certainly has a chance to come away with number one.
Yeah, and obviously I think he doesn't really care about that. He just wants to help this team get the ball after they score every time.
Yeah, I actually told him when I saw him in the cafeteria earlier this week, and I let him know. He said, oh, cool.
Seems right on brand for him.
Right on the doorstep, Finn Schmidt can't get it past Schwartz. Just a tick outside to the left. Lynchburg maintains possession with 32 on the shot clock. Holman, far side of the field. Pressure starts to come. Back to full strength. And the Maroons out and running. Good recovery from Rieger. Rieger, 4-on-3. Tic-tac-toe. What a stop by Sam Steele. Toe dragged it out of traffic. Reversed the field. What an acrobatic play from Mahoney. Gullum's it across to Holman. What are we seeing? Holman, step down. Schwartz with a big stop right on the carpet.
And you sort of saw Coach Kudelka telling Holman to slow things down. I don't think he saw the signal from the sideline. And obviously now it's going to be an unfortunate Roanoke ball here after trading it back and forth.
Well, unfortunate on who you're rooting for, Chris.
Absolutely, sorry. Unfortunate for the Hornets.
Julian Cameraman wins possession at midfield. Guarded by the long pole Meadows. Those two had a whole lot of fun in the regular season meeting between each other. Right back to Rieger. He has had a big piece of the pie in this Roanoke offense early on. Freshman guarded by fifth year. Rolls back for Cullen. Was looking for Whitlow, but he was covered like bark on a tree by Mahoney. Now it comes down to the sub game. Cullen down the left alley, lost his footing momentarily, regathers. Whitlow torching past defenders right into the breadbasket for Andrew Miller, but he can't connect with Cole Zacharias, and Roanoke takes over right back.
If you're Coach Kudelka, you're going to want to see out of your defense. Really dig in here. Obviously, long possessions on defense, not something that they want, but the failed clears. Andrew Miller may be getting just a tad too excited and trying to get the ball out in transition.
And that's typically a game that Lynchburg wins every single time they play. A team that's clearing the ball at an 86% clip while holding teams to 67%, which is the fifth best in the NCAA Division III.
Yeah, and that is something that Coach Kudelka really sort of prides himself on is at practice, he likes to make sure that they're going to steal a couple transition goals.
This has been an unbelievable display by Andrew Miller. And he's out and going. Ladies and gentlemen, he got the keys in the ignition right away. Someone with 2 assists and a goal this year. It was called offsides. Kudelka doesn't agree with it.
And the argument there is going to be that the transition was stopped, but there were people in the substitution box that should have made it okay for Andrew Miller to go across.
Nevertheless, it's another Hornet turnover. Whitlow off the top pipe. On a day where they haven't been able to get it past Miller, that's a really tough break for Roanoke. Went on the bottom portion of the top pipe. Miller once again cannot be stopped.
And I think, honestly, right now, if I'm Roanoke, Whitlow's done such a great job today. He's beaten him once, and he's really had the best opportunities against Miller.
Cameraman left open. Dish up top was to Jack Savory, I believe. Yes, it was. The junior attackman trying to go behind the back.
And they're going to say that he was pushed into the crease, and that's how he got there.
Okay.
So it's going to stay Roanoke ball.
I think that's the right call.
I agree.
But bold to go behind the back in a big-time stage such as this one. But a big-time answer. Patrick Cullen right down Main Street, off the rocks and in.
And I think, obviously, great job there using you haven't really bounced the ball against Miller, and so trying to just change up how you're shooting is going to be the way to maybe throw different looks at Andrew Miller, and he's able to bury one there. But now you're looking, how can I sort of deceive how I'm releasing the ball? That behind the back one isn't a terrible shot because you're increasing your angle and it's sort of hiding the stick from Andrew Miller so he's not able to see it as well.
I think that's well said, Chris. And one thing that you point out with the bouncers, we have seen a few that Roanoke has put on Miller, but they've all been bouncers that are right on the goal line, and he's met them every single time down low. This time they put it on the deck about 3 feet ahead, and he has no answer for it.
Yeah, and like when you're bouncing the shot, the idea is to bounce it right at the crease arc, so that way it's really hard for the goalie to make that first step and make a save.
Cameraman against Tarlacker. Takes him to X, lost his footing. Gets back and moves it around. It's Quinn Evans. Dishes over for Noah Bell. He'll swing it around the horn to Anthony Muniz. Muniz. This time it's stopped by Miller. Steele. Long pass. Sealy can't get one hand on it. Oh, but Sealy comes away out of the pack with it. Sealy off the pipe. And now Roanoke has numbers. 4 on 5. Whitlow offline. And a diving attempt made by Miller earns the Hornets possession.
And if you're Roanoke there, you got to know that there's no one backing up the shot. Maybe slow things down. This back and forth pace hasn't really benefited you too much so far. You've had multiple opportunities, not really come away with a lot. Slow things down, get the ball into Cameraman and Whitlow's stick and see what they can do.
And when I talked to Pilot about, that being such a defining characteristic of this squad, he told me, it's been a defining characteristic since 1992. We like to play fast before it was cool.
Yeah, and like when you go and scout Roanoke, they're going to play fast. They're going to have a great goalie, not just a solid goalie, but you're also going to have to play a team that's physical, and that's how they sort of spark transition.
There's a physical chunk. But Lynchburg holds on to it with 35 on the shot clock. Brody Mason from the angle. Across the middle, trying to get his hands free. Feeds Finn Schmidt. Now Vandenberg underneath for Hastings. Harassed by Weston Hammond. Got the edge. Didn't have the angle. Off the pipe. After the deflection by Schwartz. And it's a well-attended game on both sides of it. We had tailgates from each respective team before things got going. And the stands and the track both loaded here. A whole lot of red and maroon in attendance.
Yeah, and the best part about this rivalry and really all of the ODAC is that so many of these big-time games are really just an hour or so away from each other. Lynchburg to Lexington an hour, Lynchburg to Roanoke an hour, Lynchburg over to Farmville about an hour, and that allows for such great environments for these college athletes.
Cullen takes it underneath. Good movement by the Maroons. A shot saved by Miller once again. Meadows comes out of the pack with possession. Trying to reverse the field, now rolls back and finds help. A shorty brings it across the timeline.
That's a great job by Miller, sort of stepping forward and making himself big on the goal line. You saw Schwartz do it on the last possession for Roanoke. These goalies are both starting to find their rhythm. Obviously, Miller's found it ever since he stepped foot on the field for this game tonight, but Schwartz has really sort of come into his own. This second quarter, much better than the first quarter.
A penalty flag came out during the ride. Kudelka telling everybody to settle things down. Vandenberg has other ideas. Voigt with a bullet right past Schwartz right here.
And that's a great play by Voigt, knowing that he's going to have to move his feet in order to get the ball. When things are sort of chaotic, that's when Voigt has really stepped up for the Hornets, is he settles things down or he makes a play that's going to really help them in the long run.
These two teams have been back and forth, but Lynchburg still keeping arm's length after a great start in the first frame. The Maroons in dire need of some offense here in the final 3.5 minutes. And they'll start with possession. Flags come out. It'll be a hold on Lynchburg. Big time hit laid down by Hastings. It's going to be another Lynchburg penalty. And Seeley will blow it dead with the loose ball pickup.
Just like we were talking about earlier, the physicality was not going to settle down after a couple big hits by Roanoke. You get Hastings on the hit there. I don't necessarily agree with the call there, but the original penalty was absolutely clear as day, a holding call on the Hornets. Roanoke's going to have an opportunity to really go 6-on-4 here, and that's going to spark something for them.
And so we can take another look at the replay right here. That hit from Hastings was the second flag that came out. So 6-on-4. For a team that ranks 9th in the nation for man-up offense. This is where they make their money.
So if you're Roanoke, you're obviously looking, hey, we got to score here. And if you can get a kill here, if you're Lynchburg, that's going to spark big fireworks.
Shot goes wide from Cameraman, trying to go low to low on the left side. No dice. Lynchburg close to going 5-on-6, seconds away. Cameraman, same shot, this time goes low to high and soars it. And just like that, Lynchburg's back to full strength. Pardon me, not 5-on-6, 6-on-6.
So they got Hastings for a push from behind, not a body check, which I think if you're going to call that, that's the right call.
Cameraman didn't see it all the way through. Lynchburg with numbers, moving in transition. Hastings cuts back. Now Finn Schmidt. The Hornets will retreat their long pull in Harlacher and bring in Holman. Meadows, the long pull, still on the offensive end. Now, right as I say that, he'll head to the other side of the field. And Grant Voigt comes on. And now Jake Rust. There's the first line of middies. All offensive starters back on the field for the Hornets. Holman, split dodge on the doorstep, Jake Rust.
That's as pretty as it's going to get, Joe. Great move by Holman, sort of using that split dodge, but also the stutter step to get his hands free multiple times. And then Jake Rust, who is normally that sniper, he's able to just get it down low and finish right in front of the net.
Just like that, addition dunk. Jake Rust ties Whitlow for the most goals in the conference this season. Lynchburg's largest lead tonight, 9-3. Cameraman with a nice swim move. Another one. Nate Schmidt hit the turf. and unsportsmanlike conduct.
And it looked like after Schmidt had fallen, cameraman had sort of looked at the referee and had some words to say, and the referee didn't like that, so he was going to call for the possession turnover there.
Wow. And at a pivotal time where Lynchburg can really hold on and close out the first half, or even add to their advantage. Voigt for Rust. The two fifth years playing catch. Voigt sees an opening. Down the right alley. Oh, what a shot. Off the mark, but that one had some habanero on it.
And I think if you're Roanoke there, that's probably the best shot that you can give up. Voigt's hips were sort of going towards the sideline instead of the end line, and so not a terrible shot. And obviously Schwartz is starting to see the ball a little bit better here in the second quarter.
4-second difference between shot and game clock. Voigt. Vandenberg. Rust. Rust! It's through! A missile to the top right corner. And the Hornets keep on keeping on, up by 7.
And that's more of a classic Jake Rust goal there, able to get the ball just into that catch and shoot motion. He does a great job of catching and in one motion releasing, and every time he has his hands free from about 10 yards out, he's going to bury that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's an All-American for a reason. Stick side high doesn't matter.
Can't save what you can't see.
Too fast. Frankel can't maintain possession. Still a scrum for it. Nobody's got it in the twig yet.
Oh.
Push in the back. That's an easy one for the official. And just 10 seconds left, so they'll go a man down and start the second half a man down as well.
That's if they decide to hold on to the ball here. If you're Coach Pilot, you've had a real hard time slowing down Frankel. I agree, you should probably hold the ball with possession. But if you're Lynchburg, maybe you press out and try to get the ball on the ground or in the air and have a face-off to start the second half.
Well, to do that a man down would be bold. It looks like they're just going to let this one trickle down. Clock still hasn't started moving yet. Now it has. That'll do it. A 7-goal differential in the first half, but just a 1-shot differential between Lynchburg and Roanoke. The Hornets with 23 to the Maroons 22. Lynchburg's just, I mean, their offense has looked really exceptionally strong today.
Yeah, and obviously they're on the same pace that they were when these teams met about a month ago, where they put up 19 goals. Now with 10 going into half, I think the biggest difference is that Andrew Miller's at 13 saves and Schwartz is only at 6.
Also the battle on the carpet, 13 ground balls to Lynchburg's 26. We'll walk you through all the numbers when we come back after a brief intermission here at half. Lynchburg up by a touchdown.
Get your career in the game by enrolling in the University of Lynchburg MBA program with an emphasis in sport management. This program opens the doors to new possibilities for a variety of careers, from being an athletic director or working in athletic administration to working for professional organizations, your favorite team, to running a local Parks and Rec department. And employers are increasingly requesting and preferring individuals who have postgraduate education, specifically looking for an MBA. And so the University of Lynchburg Sport Management concentration in the MBA program sets you up for success, and it sets you apart from the many other people looking for jobs in the industry. Learn from winners. Here you will learn from professors and mentors who have spent their careers doing exactly what you want to do. Increase your marketability in an $83 billion industry. If you have a 3.0 GPA, the GMAT is waived. There's no application fee, admissions occurs on a rolling basis, and our online program is ideal for working adults. When you enroll in this program, you enroll in the opportunity to learn from the best of the best. Your professors have a wealth of experience working in the sport industry that they share with you in the classroom setting. Get in the game by getting your MBA with a sport management concentration at the University of Lynchburg. Just you now, Hollywood, here I come. Hey, I meant, yeah.
The real Lindsay Piper's here.
Autographs there later. Let's.
All right, my name is Joshua Carr. I am a senior. I am a theater major as well as a history minor. I love the arts. I love acting. I love entertaining. I live in 5th Street, the historic black neighborhood. The money came in, transfer, scholarship, all that. I appreciate that greatly. I pay my own tuition. I ain't got no help. I pay everything myself. I mean, I'm smart too. So they gave it like, you smart, here, here. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that though. You come here to do a job. I came here to do a job. A student's job is to get that degree and make something of ourselves. We got everything for you. We got you a 24-hour library. You got these sorority fraternities. We got the shoot for you. Is you gonna put it on? That's how University of Lynchburg is. Success is in the details. You know what I'm saying? It's like you learn it, know better, do better. What I love is they allow us to speak. They want our voices to be heard. They want us to talk. They want us to bring up the discomfort. They respect our point of views. They respect Black Lives Matter. They respect the LGBT community. They respect those, you know what I'm saying? That's what I love about my school. They respect that and they allow us to showcase and voice our expressions. I love the diversity here. I love the different interests of people here. I can act, dance, sing, box, play football. I can do it all, you know what I'm saying? I can teach somebody that doesn't know what I know, and that person can teach me something that I don't know that they know. That's what you get here. You get diversity, you get different people with different knowledge coming together, sharing information and helping each other out. That's what I love. That's why I say people. I love the people here. College, think about it. If it's not for you, fall back. If it's for you, go further with it. And University of Lynchburg will be that choice. It's gonna be right there. They're gonna make the shoe. They're gonna do what it do. It's up for you to put that shoe on. So that's what I say.
My name is Alexis Fabula. I major in criminology and I double minor in psychology and criminal forensics. My favorite part about Lynchburg is the friends that I've come to have. It's helped me come out of my shell more, and it's helped me become the person I am and the student I am. I really enjoyed how small the campus was, and I also really enjoy how small the class sizes are. It made me feel like I was going to be more engaged than I would at a bigger campus. If someone was on the fence of coming to the University of Lynchburg, I would definitely love to sit down and have a conversation with them because I'm forever grateful that I made this choice. It's definitely something that a student wouldn't regret. Out of my 4 years here, I've not had one bad experience. I've had a great 4 years, and I'm going to be very sad to go.
This video isn't about me. It's about the limitless possibilities that the University of Lynchburg allows me to be. An athlete, an artist, an adventurer, a writer, a believer, a human. Because what I love about the University of Lynchburg is that they have a saying, here we're home. And honestly though, I think a better fit would be a home for everyone. Because it doesn't matter the color of your skin, the person you love, the God you pray to, the pronouns you use, the city you're from, the language you speak. University of Lynchburg gives you the greatest opportunity they can for you to be the absolute best version of yourself.
Every great college has a great city. For Lynchburg, we are near urban areas with lots of restaurants, shopping, and events. Plus, we are one of the top schools in the area. Come see for yourself.
And we welcome you back into the Hill City. It's a 10-3 ball game on Schellenberger Field with the Lynchburg Hornets out in front. Jake Rust led the way for Lynchburg through the opening 30 minutes with 3 goals. 6 other Hornets have 1. For the Maroons, it's Whitlow, Reiger, and Cullen all with 1. Other than that, it's been a quiet night for the Maroon offense. 1 goal in the first, 2 goals in the second, and Lynchburg with a dominating first 30 minutes to try and punch their ticket to the ODAC championship. Chris, when we take a look at the numbers in the first half of action, you can see what really stands out to you is not the shots on goals, not the clears, not even the turnovers. It's that save column and the ground ball column where Lynchburg have really created separation tonight.
Absolutely. They're doubling them up. And then something also is that we knew Roanoke was going to need more than just the Cameramans to sort of score for them, as well as Whitlow. They have 2 other guys that have scored for them, but there's only 3 goals total, and neither of the Cameramans have been able to do anything. They have no points through the first half. That's got to be something that Coach Pilot's sort of curious about.
The Cameraman brothers combined for 10 goals in the regular season meetings between these 2 squads, with the younger brother Julian tallying a career-high 6 goals. Wyatt Whitlow, who was just stopped on that attempt, had 5 goals in that affair. That 3-headed offensive attack with 15 of the 18 goals for Roanoke in the regular season meeting here. But Whitlow, obviously with 1 tonight. Nevertheless, the Lynchburg defense has really stepped up their game when it has mattered the most all season long.
Yeah, and he has 8 shots, now 9. And Lynchburg defense has really kept him at bay, but Andrew Miller's just really stood on his head, and something that you see in playoff hockey is they can take over a game.
Here comes Seeley. A slow break for Lynchburg. Hastings taking Hammond all the way outside. Now we'll give it up for Voigt.
And Joe, I think something to be touched on is that the fact that Roanoke had to play Shenandoah, who just continues to get better every single year, on Tuesday. It's hard to come back Tuesday 2 days later and have to play another quality opponent away on the road.
Here's Rust with an opening, decides to go underneath. I think you're exactly right, but, you know, what I got to counterpoint you with is that's exactly what's going to happen to whoever takes on W&L on the road this Saturday.
And I agree, but obviously W&L with that 2-goal game against Randolph-Macon, it sort of makes this bye and that regular season meeting between Roanoke and Lynchburg so much more valuable that the winner of that ended up getting a bye and home field advantage for this semifinal game.
Yeah, that was certainly a big one. Granted, Shenandoah didn't seem to give Roanoke much issues. Nevertheless, the bye and just the extra days of rest and preparation where Lynchburg could look ahead over a week and say, you know, this is what we've got. Cameraman cans his first one of the night. Cuts into the deficit, makes it a 10-4 ball game.
And that's a classic shot from Cameraman. Able to catch the ball in that same motion, similar to Russ on Lynchburg's side. He's able to catch it, one motion, shoot, and he puts it right where Miller can't save it.
And Chris, I'm starting to get the feeling that he's going to start heating up pretty soon. And this isn't a game that's going to be a 6, 7, 8 goal differential. This one's going to be tight.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is how can Lynchburg keep the Cameramans and Whitlow at bay?
Frankel with the win. Hastings was detwigged. He wanted a call, didn't get it, but another whistle will slow things down.
And unfortunately for Roanoke, the ball goes out of bounds there. They had the opportunity to sort of, yeah, they lost the faceoff, but a bad mishandle by Hastings, and they're able to go out in transition. They just weren't able to scoop the ball off the turf.
Roanoke back into man defense. We've seen them switch it up a couple of times tonight. Vandenberg around the horn. Holman gets a touch. Holman lets it go off the mark.
Great, similar move that Holman's had all night is sort of that stutter step. Right there, I'd like to see him sort of look one more. Schmidt was curling up around the net. Maybe dump it off, get him going as well.
You've got a player rushing off the field for Roanoke. I don't know why he left.
It looked like it was a broken stick.
Put him a man down, and the Hornets capitalized right away.
Unfortunate there for Roanoke that his stick snaps, and by rule you have to drop it and get off immediately. Something that I would like to see the NCAA sort of adopt is if the stick snaps, you have to drop it, but you can sort of still play sort of that NHL and pro lacrosse style.
Hastings, the man that took advantage of it. His second one today, a bouncer that gets through. Meadows with a pickup off the faceoff. Another win for Frankel. Steele down the near sideline, hits his keeper back. And a good hookup with Harlacher. He had numbers to get across, but miscommunication. Headed back the other way, and a turnover from Lynchburg. There's an opening, but it closed up quickly.
You know, if I'm Roanoke there, you almost take that opportunity to just put one on net there. If it doesn't go in, it is what it is. But if you get that one to go in, that's a big spark.
Julian Cameraman off mark. He's had a tough night. Not much success in his department. The most he's seen on the stat line has been 2 penalties. The Maroons looking for Whitlow, not there. They reverse to Cameraman, who can't put it on net.
And how great of a player Cameraman is. You see him just getting real frustrated with himself. If I'm Pilot, you got to tell him, hey, your time's going to come.
All right, on cue, Julian Cameraman finds his first of the night. Stumbling to the ground, lost his dome on the way to the carpet.
And like you were saying earlier, obviously the Cameramans and Whitlow, they're such great players. You're not going to keep them at bay the entire game. They're going to get their points no matter what. It may take them longer, but if you're Lynchburg's defense, you're just trying to hold them to limit the amount of points. When they had 15 goals for a combined last time these two teams met, you want to try to limit that as much as possible.
Back to a 6-goal game. Lynchburg out in front with 10.5 to go in the third. They'll say Frankel moved early. And another face-off win for Ryan Becker. You know, and as we've talked a lot about, how there has been a difference in production from Cameramans and Whitlow, who still have 3 goals combined with 1 apiece. Pilot was saying yesterday how this game is more so about the other guys, everyone else. He said the reason that Lynchburg beat us in the regular season meeting was because their other guys did more than our other guys. It's not always about the big-name players. It's about that group of defensive middies that are making hustle plays to pick them up on the ground balls. We're talking about defenders that are rotating quicker and calling out what they need to be doing more so. And tonight, Lynchburg, once again, has really dominated that aspect. While they've gotten a hat trick in the first half from Jake Rust, they've had 7 different goal scorers as well.
Absolutely. And if you look at it, Lynchburg's top guys, the Hastings to Rust, they're going to get their goals. On the other side, you have the Cameraman brothers and Whitlow, they're going to get their goals. But if you're looking at the guys who aren't necessarily the All-American stud players that everyone's talking about, it's 5 goals to 2 in Lynchburg's favor.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the first early goals from Lynchburg. You had one from Hogg. You had one from Seeley. It's exactly what you're talking about. Maroons with 44 on the shot clock. Patient offense as they'll work it around to Cameraman on the far side of the field under the lights. A Thursday night showdown with all eyes set on Saturday for the championship. Split dodge down the left alley, ricocheted away into the back netting. Shot clock won't reset. 25 to go. Cameraman working on Harlacher. Great pressure applied. Back up for Whitlow. Sails it over the top post.
And if you look at Roanoke, you can't be too discouraged. Obviously, the score's not what you want. But Whitlow, the Cameramans, they're getting the shots that they want. They're just not burying them, which is very uncharacteristic of this Roanoke team. They're a very good shooting team.
Yeah, and they've outshot Lynchburg tonight. But you're playing a Lynchburg team that ranks 4th in the nation for shot percentage. They're as efficient as it gets. 4 on the shot clock. Cameraman most likely just going to want to send this the other way. Instead, puts it into the bread basket for Miller. Now Seeley out and going. Holman calling for it out of the substitution box. Oh my goodness, what a play! Lost his stick. Now Maroons out and going. Oh, but Cameraman didn't see it all the way through. Harlacher lets it roll out of bounds. Back-to-back quick turnovers. Can we talk about that check?
Yeah, an absolute yard sale and a half. Great hustle play by the Roanoke Maroon, and he's able to get it so that way it gives them another shot on offense. However, Cameraman just unable to handle the pass. If you're Coach Cadell, you got to tell Parker Seeley, hey, we're still playing with urgency. There's still over 20 minutes left in this ball game. Roanoke's just not going to keel over and die for us. They're going to fight, and if you don't play until the last second, it's going to be a game.
Now is Savory, a guy that had missed almost all last season due to injury. Has been a big piece in this Roanoke team this season. Holman underneath for Rust, had it ricocheted away by Hammond. Taken right back by Vandenberg. Grant Voigt puts his arms up and says, slow it down, boys. That's the quarterback calling out. Voigt now at the G. The fifth year wants to go. Finchman takes a high screen. Lynchburg now underneath. Bounce pass for Holman. What a dodge. Got his hands free. Bullseye! Holman at the top shelf.
Unbelievable shot by Holman there. It's that move that he's had several times tonight. The sort of shake and bake, and it's hard for a Roanoke defender to really know, is he going to go topside to his left hand, or is he sort of going to give that little toe drag to get underneath, get his feet set, and when his feet set are from about 6 yards, not much Schwartz can do there.
12-5. What a shot by Holman. He has been the stellar sophomore this season for the Hornets. A guy that was in the second line last season and made a big, big-time leap this year for Lynchburg. One of their go-to goal scorers.
If you're Lynchburg, you know that this week, the ODAC tournament, it's hard. It's growing to get through. You're going to need those secondary guys to make big-time plays to get you to advance in the tournament. Holman, who hasn't had a great last couple weeks of the season, obviously he's saved up and has had an unbelievable night tonight for the Hornets.
Beautiful check by Harlacher to poke it free, but the Roanoke Maroons stick with it. Cameraman with his swim move on Meadows, takes him to goal line extended. Cullen backtracking now to Cameraman, sidearm stopped by Miller. He has had a career night.
And unfortunately for Roanoke, Cameraman sort of catches that ball and is just continuing to fade away from the goal, never gets his momentum going towards the net. Instead, it's going towards the sideline and sort of the middle of the field where it says Lynchburg, and it makes that much easier for Andrew Miller to make the save.
Brody Mason now wants to give it a go. Finn Schmidt to Vandenberg. Now Hastings, the three attackmen, sharing the wealth. Topside Hastings for Mason. Vandenberg got an edge. Fake pass. Now the shot. It looked like that ricocheted off the inside of the cage. They're going to keep on playing. My eyes must be tricking me.
And I think I'm going to have to agree with the officials there because of the way the ball bounced out. It sort of hit the post and came towards the sideline.
Weston Hammond with a physical ground ball. Roll back. Patience now from Whitlow for Cameraman. They tried to speed it up and got caught. A hold on the Maroons, and the Lynchburg sideline loves the call.
Really smart play by Seeley there to sort of slow things down. You know he wants the opportunity to go there, but now you get the third line midfield to get out on the field for the Hornets, really showing off that depth with the third line.
Well, you get the Rubley twins, which is always a fun sight to see. The Twins have combined for 16 goals this year, 9 and 7, respectively, between Will and Mark. Vandenberg doing some dancing, big-time stop by Schwartz. But Lynchburg recovers and gets a fresh 60. No need to rush if you're a Hornet. Luke Cameraman, irate on the sideline, threw his stick into the bench. Now with his head and his hands on the sideline. The frustration certainly starting to boil. Off the post, now Schwartz with possession. Trying to get it across the timeline. Good dancing from Julian Cameraman. Slashing straight to the pipes. Back up top, Whitlow into the breadbasket of Miller. Out in front, Seeley.
You know he's going to want to go here.
Underneath, Schwartz got into the chest of Vandenberg to disrupt the pass. A veteran play from a young player. I've been very impressed with Schwartz tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you have to look at the shots. Not all stats will tell you the complete story of how the game's going. Schwartz has done an absolute great job. He got shelled early with just a ton of shots from really quality areas.
Well, there's a quality shot on the mark from Quinn Evans. The fifth year out of Cincinnati, Ohio, who's had 4 goals in the last 2 games.
And that's a great job by Evans, sort of curling, getting to the middle of the field so that way he can catch it, keep his feet moving, and really throw off Miller where he's trying to shoot the ball from.
And I will say, you won't be able to see it through the helmet, but Quinn Evans, I mean, he's got one heck of a handlebar mustache. I believe they call it a Fu Manchu.
Yeah, I've heard of those a couple times. I unfortunately can't do that, but hopefully, maybe one day, I think you might be able to rock it.
Maybe one day. 12-6. Roanoke trying to keep this one within reach, headed into the 4th quarter. Another one would be big for Roanoke. Illegal procedure on Roanoke, and Lynchburg takes possession.
And I think the Roanoke coaches are a little upset with that, as Finn Schmidt was all the way by right in front of their coaching staff, and they're saying, how did we get called for the illegal procedure when their guy's all the way up here? And I may have to agree with them. Lynchburg might have gotten away with one there.
Voigt. Holman, step down, wide. Vandenberg backs it up. 2 minutes in the 3rd quarter, 57 on the shot clock.
Roanoke's going to drop into the zone defense here and allow Lynchburg to sort of really, you have to move. You can't get flat-footed here if you want to break the zone, so that way you can get the open skip lanes.
Holman shot off the mark, 40 seconds on the shot clock.
And you can see Coach Kudelka telling Holman to, hey, don't have one pass, dodge, and shoot. Let's work the ball around, get it moving, so that way it forces Roanoke to move.
Well, unfortunately for Kudelka, that's how that kid plays. Very much so an isolation dodger. He scored twice on it tonight. Looking for the Hattie. Voigt. Possession won by Schwartz and the Maroons. They'll look to make it a 5-goal game with 1:15 to go. Schwartz, oh, what a grab. Tiptoeing down the sideline, Quinn with a nice play.
And if you're Roanoke, you're going to look at this and say, hey, let's get one here, make it a 5-goal game, and we know we can score in bunches. 5 goals isn't too big of a deficit to come back from.
No, they certainly can score in bunches. We've seen it all year long. Ace is a squad that is quite literally never out of the game. And our offense can get hot and do so in a hurry. Trying to ignite that fire right before the 4th quarter starts with half a minute to go. Cullen trying to get the angle. Good defense from 2 Lynchburg poles.
if you're a cameraman here, you got to be begging for the ball here.
They go up top. It's Whitlow. Has his shot deflected. It's still loose. Anybody's ball. Miller had it go right by him. Patrick Cullen, the Arcadia transfer out of Martinsville, New Jersey, with 2.9, makes it a 5-goal game.
And that may be exactly what Roanoke wants. And not a great shot by Whitlow. Normally he's a much better shooter than that, but he's looking and just trying to get it on net. But obviously, ball's picked up, and all he has to do with Miller out of the net is dump it right in.
7-12. Lynchburg leads. Just what the doctor ordered for Roanoke. Time expires. 15 minutes left to be played. And a chance to head to the ODAC Championship for a date with the Washington and Lee Generals. We'll step aside. Lynchburg up by 5.
When creating a sustainable future, your choices matter, even your choice of a college. The University of Lynchburg is the first college in Virginia to go carbon neutral. Our dining hall is Green Restaurant certified. We compost all of our food waste and purchase our electricity from landfill gas. Now we're turning a hazardous lake into a thriving urban wetland. When you choose Lynchburg, you leave a smaller footprint while building a better tomorrow.
Field turf was built on innovation, dating back to our invention of long-piled infield turf, which revolutionized the industry. Today, we offer a series of game-changing fibers, high-performance infills, sport-specific applications, and smart field technology. Field turf. Let's change the game together.
At the University of Lynchburg, we've lowered our tuition, so you get a better value for a great education. Come see our campus for yourself.
And we welcome you back into the broadcast booth. Lynchburg up by 5 here in the fourth quarter. A Hornet down. And we'll step aside briefly.
This is the dough. It's wicked cute. It's always so pretty.
And we welcome you back in after a brief pause. Roanoke back with possession here in the fourth quarter. You do apologize, the fourth, for some reason, not working on our graphics. So ignore the score bug. Fourth quarter, 14 and a half minutes to be played. Lynchburg up by 5. Roanoke with a big-time goal to end the third quarter to cut into the lead. Needing a spurt of offense to get the wheels going in the right direction. A loose ball penalty on the Maroons gives it back to Lynchburg. Long pass downfield. Parker Seeley reels it in.
Now Jake Russ is going to have an opportunity. He had the shorty on him, but now Roanoke knowing we have to keep a pull on him. Holman, who's done a lot of damage today on that short stick, we'll see what he's able to do here.
Lynchburg really no need to rush. This is a Roanoke team that likes to play fast. That's how they make their money, as the top scoring offense in the nation. Lynchburg has the luxury of trying to slow them down and burn some clock in the process. Grant Voigt. No signs of slowing down. Green lights only.
That's a great job by Voigt there, able to get to his strong hand and really understand that, hey, let's work the ball around for 30, 40 seconds, and now I can go. Now that we've worked deep into the shot clock, and burying one. Best case scenario there for the Lynchburg Hornets is burn about a minute of time and get a goal out of it.
The fifth year working on the freshman Rieger. Blows right past him with his strong hand free. Early movement by the Maroons. Franco with a face-off win.
Definitely good to see Franco back out there after getting knocked up a little bit.
At the Y, a split dodge from Holman. Underneath for Vandenberg, lost it momentarily. Back for Voigt, taking him way outside. Voigt, hesitation, stutter step, rolls back, right hand shot, just narrowly wide.
I think Grant Voigt's starting to just continue to play with confidence, and you really see that here. We've seen it picked up as the season's gone along. Not that he hasn't been in these big games, but now he understands, hey, like, I'm playing well. Keep on feeding me the rock.
Holman. Schmidt lost it, got it right back.
Roanoke's dropped into his zone here.
Rust just over the top pipe.
Just such a great release there. Nice and quick, able to do it just so fluidly.
Holman for Hastings. A bouncer stopped by Schwartz. Rust trying to get in the mix and jar it free. But Schwartz with a big time clamp.
That's a real heads-up play by Russ, understanding that the ball's still not in the crease, so it's free game to hit the goalie's stick there and swipe underneath.
Cameraman calling for it. Harlacker's really giving him a whole lot to deal with tonight.
I'm talking with Harlacker, he would probably be the first one to say that last time these two teams met, not his best game. Cameraman really got the best of him, and he said that he sort of took that personally and understood that he really needed to crack down if he was able to really stop the All-American.
Lynchburg had too many men on one side of the field as Roanoke was changing offensive players, and the Hornets went with them, but Lynchburg got away with one. The Roanoke sideline really unhappy about it. Nevertheless, Miller with his save, and now Lynchburg will slowly walk it up. Mahoney, right back for Miller, towards the middle of the field, but sails it over the head of his intended target, and Hammond right there to clean it up.
And Andrew Miller's played phenomenal today. 19 saves on the game. The biggest sort of worried that if I'm Lynchburg, is his outlet passing, which
Yeah.
normally has been spot on. You've seen it with assists and everything throughout the year, has not been on point today.
Schwartz has definitely had the advantage in terms of that regard. But obviously, as a coach, you'll take the saves over everything else.
And now he's got a nice even number of 20.
20 piece. That might be a season high for him.
Yeah, and it's just, if I'm a betting man, I would say that he's going to have a couple more tonight.
In the corner, Vandenberg trying to split two. Kudelka takes timeout with 59 on the shot clock. We'll step aside, 10:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Lynchburg up by 6.
If you want to know your customers, shop where they shop. Live where they live. And spend time with them as neighbors. With over 100 local offices, Virginia Farm Bureau agents are part of your community. If you want insurance from a company that knows you, get to know us.
At the University of Lynchburg, we've lowered our tuition, so you get a better value for a great education. Come see our campus for yourself.
It's been a career night for Andrew Miller. His previous career high for saves was 16. He's got 20 tonight as he's kept the Maroons at bay with 7 goals. It has not been the explosive affair that we saw in the regular season meeting with a combined 37 goals. That was some quick math in my head.
Good job.
18 and 19 isn't as easy as you would think. I do 40 and subtract 3. What about you?
8 plus 9, 7.
There you go. Carry the 1.
Yep. Good old math.
Holman hits to his right. The Maroons in zone defense. Right into the middle. Vandenberg has his shot saved. Stuck with it. The rebound.
And they're going to say he was in
No.
the goal mouth there.
Landed in the goal mouth. That's a big and quite controversial rule in lacrosse.
And I think they're right there. The fact that he's allowed to land in the crease as long as the ball's gone in, but he can't go into that goal mouth. I think his hands landed in there.
I will ask, obviously it is right by the rule. Do you personally like the goal mouth rule?
I do, because I do think you have to. Biggest thing is player safety.
Yeah.
You don't want seeing a goalie's season or career ended by a knee injury.
Whitlow! Upper 90. His second of the night. Back to a 5-goal game.
And that's the second time that Whitlow's caught the ball on the run and hit the corner.
Well, there's a reason he leads the conference in goals this year. No matter where he's on the turf, he's always a threat to score.
Great pass by Luke Cameraman there. Obviously, now he's got a goal and an assist. That's got to maybe help his confidence after seeing some of the frustration earlier on in the half.
Hammond with a ground ball to win possession for Roanoke. Plenty of lacrosse left to crawl back into this contest. He'll start on the near side with Cullen.
If you're Roanoke, you look at this, you can score here on this possession, 4 goals with 8 minutes left is not unheard of for them to come back from.
Noah Bell underneath for Luke Cameraman. Rolling back to his left. Now for his right. Got the edge, but couldn't put it on goal. A big hit laid down. But it seemed like a maroon jersey must have been in the crease.
I'm going to have to probably disagree with that. He didn't just fall in there himself. Had to have gotten pushed, but.
Nevertheless, Lynchburg with possession. Holman pumps the brakes on the transition opportunity. And he'll feed it to the All-American. Holman diving down low. An illegal procedure called on Lynchburg. Roanoke with numbers downfield if they can push it. And they tried to push it a little too much, but a nice save. Cullen scoops it off the carpet, driving inside and over the head of his intended target in Clayton Bruick.
And in all honesty there, he's just got to understand that the ball is gold for Roanoke right now. They got to take care of the possession, so that way they can get their best possible opportunity. You know Lynchburg's going to come onto the offensive side and try to slow things down as much as possible.
And Bruick, another guy that's really been held quiet tonight. Someone that has 5 hat tricks this season. 3 of which have come in the last 5 games. Nevertheless, you got to give the Lynchburg defense some credit, both from those long pulls and the shorties. They have found another gear tonight. Of course, a lot of help in the crease from Andrew Miller. Vin Schmidt looking for Vandenberg, ricocheted off his chest plate and into a maroon stick. Now they've got numbers. Cameraman wide open on the doorstep. It's as easy as it gets. Don't look now, here comes Roanoke.
And that's, if you're Lynchburg, you know Roanoke's able to do that. And that is just classic Roanoke fashion there. Bad pass by Lynchburg, forcing it into the crease. Something that they've not had success with tonight, yet they still continue to try to force it. Not something you need if you're the Hornets, but great job by Roanoke picking up the ball and just going right out the front.
Now a 4-goal difference with just under 7 minutes to go. Every faceoff feels crucial. And Riley Frankel wins this one. Both guys tangled up, no laundry thrown. That'll be the second line of middies on for the Lynchburg Hornets. Brody Mason has really led the charge as the maestro with this group tonight. Colby Hogg.
If you're Lynchburg here, you need a great possession out of this second line midfield. You need to either milk the shot clock all the way down to 0 or come away with a goal.
Drive down the left alley. On the money. Caden Hinchney, the junior attackman out of Glastonbury, Connecticut. When you've got an attackman that turns into a midfielder, he can be dangerous, and his eyes light up when you put a short stick on him.
And that is just something you go for. Talking with the coaching staff, you know Caden Hinchney is a great player, and they were just trying to find a way to get him on the field because they know he can make big-time plays.
A big-time response from Lynchburg. What was a 4-goal deficit with 7 minutes is now a 5-goal deficit with 6 minutes.
Lynchburg's got to expect that Roanoke's going to start to really pressure the passes, lock off the adjacents to make this as hard as possible for them to really move and maybe cause a turnover here.
I mean, if you're Lynchburg, right now you feel really good about the spot you're in where you can, you don't want to say play on your heels, but really slow things down, especially with the success you've had with face-offs in the second half, but turnovers like that can be costly.
Absolutely, and unforced error there, something that Roanoke's hoping they'll get a couple more of if they want a chance to fight back into this game.
Across midfield with 7 seconds to spare. Cameraman attacking Harlacher. Cameraman lets it go off the pipe. A diving attempt from Lynchburg, but Zacharias couldn't get there in time. Under 5 minutes to go.
And unfortunately for Cameraman, it's just he hasn't really been able to buy a goal here today. Has beaten Miller twice now, but it's hit, or 3 times, but 2 of them have hit the post.
Here's an angle. What a stop. Miller sticking with it. Back-to-back saves. And Lynchburg takes possession. Open space in the middle of the field for Meadows. Julian Cameraman with a tightrope act. And a flag comes flying. My eyes were on midfield and looking for the offside. So, Chris, you have any idea what just happened?
Yeah, I think he's just trying to make a hustle play. Ends up stepping on the line itself. He tries to tightrope it. However, unfortunately, he steps right on the line. And now if you're Lynchburg, you want to milk all 47 seconds left of this and then get the man-up opportunity to really bring this down under 3 minutes left in the game.
4 minutes to go. The Maroons bringing a double team. Holman just trying to get away. Holman diving, scoring, capitalizing.
Just like you were saying before, I would have liked to see them use the whole shot clock. However, that's not how he plays. All he knows how to do tonight is score.
He said, I'm wide open. I'm going to let this fly.
This has to be Holman's best game of the year.
A Holman Hattie gives Lynchburg a 6-goal advantage. And it feels like this one's coming to a close. A crucial face-off win for the Maroons. A flag comes out after the trip. So a man upset now for the Maroons. I mean, what a play.
Yeah, it sort of had me speechless. Didn't know exactly the words to get out there, but unbelievable play by Holman. Like I said, by far his best game of the year. And he just continues to roll. I know that this Lynchburg offense knows that if you can get Hastings rolling like he has been, Russ has been firing on all cylinders. Now you're getting the threat of Voigt and Holman for multiple goals. It is a very dangerous team.
Holman up to 30 goals this season, the 3rd most points on Lynchburg's squad. He's had 8 multi-goal games this year and has had 6 goals and 3 assists in the 3 games leading up to today's affair. And we mentioned this is a Maroon team that is dangerous in man-up, and that's why. 9th in the nation for scoring percentage in man-up opportunities. 2 for 3 tonight.
And if you're Lynchburg, unfortunate penalty from Riley Hastings, sort of a hustle play, gets his stick tangled up in the Roanoke Maroons player. They're able to take advantage of it. And now if you're Coach Pilot, this is a must-win face-off for them.
3 minutes until we know who's going to the championship to take on the top-seeded Washington and Lee Generals. Lynchburg up by 5.
My name is Davion Washington Jr. I have the honor of serving as the student body president. I have 5 little siblings. I'm the oldest of 6 siblings, and they look up to me. I'm setting the tone. I get to develop myself, make myself a better individual, but also I'm helping future generations, not even my family, but just future generations in general. You know, I found my passion here. I found, you know, the love for what I want to do. You know, I just really had an amazing time here. It's changed, like, my outlook on life. You don't have to be famous to change lives. You don't have to be on the big screen or whatever. I change lives now, and I hope to continue to do that. Just same way that the University of Lynchburg has changed my life for the better.
Lynchburg leading by 5 with 3:02 to go here in the fourth quarter. It's been the Andrew Miller showcase in the crease for the Hornets with 21 saves this evening, tying for the 9th highest total in the conference this year.
And if you're Roanoke here, you gotta get this face off. They've been sort of beating up on Riley Frankel, and it hasn't slowed him down.
Franco with a big-time win at the center circle. The Hornets 15 of 27 on faceoffs tonight. We thought there was going to be a bigger disparity, but Ryan Becker really has had a nice night. But with the season that Riley Frankel has had, he is a tough man to slow down. Speaking of slowing it down, Lynchburg with 2.5 to go, trying to kill as much clock as they possibly can. Long pass towards midfield for Vandenberg. Gives it up to Schmidt, 40 on the shot clock.
If you're Lynchburg, you ideally want to keep the ball behind the net so that way if you do turn it over, it's the longest possible for Roanoke to get the ball and push it in transition. You don't want to turn it over at the top of the box and give them a quick outlet.
And, you know, talking about just the difference in regular season and playoffs, the defensive intensity has been amped up times 10. And not only just this game, but you look at the other semifinal game as Roanoke forces a turnover. Cameraman with a quick pass on the run, off the mark. You know, the Randolph-Macon W&L game, 18 combined goals between those two. It was a great defensive battle with a Yellow Jacket squad that is one of the best defensive teams, not only just in the ODAC, but in the entire country. Top 15 in opposing and goals allowed, I should say. Nevertheless, minute 38 to go. Roanoke takes timeout. Chris, what's the secret sauce here if you're the Maroons?
Well, first thing is you got to get a quick one here. You got to score. If I'm Coach Pilot, you got to draw up your best one-time hitter to get a quick goal here, ideally within the next 5 to 8 seconds. You can't wait a long time. Then from there, it comes down to the face-off acts. Riley Frankel's going to have an opportunity to really put this game on ice, or is Roanoke going to be able to win a couple of these in a row? That's the best part about lacrosse. A couple weeks ago, North Carolina and Syracuse, it's a 5-goal game with about 2.5 minutes left. Obviously, a little less time here, but you win face-offs, you're going to have as much time as you want to go down the field and score, and especially if you're Roanoke, you can win them out the front. Then you get that 4-on-3, and with this Roanoke attack, anything's possible.
Well, they would need a miracle right now. 98 seconds to go. We'll see what they've got in store. Lynchburg applying a lot of pressure. Curling around the crease. Squeaks it through. Julian Cameraman. His second goal tonight. Brings it back to a 4-goal deficit. This is when the face-off is everything.
Absolutely. Like I said, Riley Frankel is going to have an opportunity to really ice the game here. If he wins it out, it's going to be about a 3 or 4 second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. However, if Roanoke, you got to send someone straight to the ball. If you're Lynchburg, you guys send guys sort of more defensively to stop any momentum that they may have.
It's played back. Sealy can't bring it in. Tracks back, picks up the loose ball. Miller retreating back to the crease, followed by Cameraman. Harlacher for Rust. A hesitation, lost his footing, and the ball got poked free. 1:02 to go. Cullen towards the crease, spins back. Cameraman, step down, pass, off the pipe. Into the twig of Sam Steele.
And if Lynchburg's able to clear the ball here, that's going to be all she wrote.
.30 seconds to go. Lynchburg reverses the field to Spencer Vandenberg. And the Hornets on their way to sealing a big victory, Chris.
Absolutely. They're about to punch their ticket over to Lexington for a rematch where they lost a couple weeks ago in overtime to the Generals. And you know that when they lost that game, this is the day that they had marked on their calendars for the rest of the season.
Ball's loose, clock stops. And it's not gonna matter. The Hornets storm the field. Lynchburg has done it. Back to the ODAC championship. They take down the Maroons for the 11th straight time, the 3rd year in a row in the semifinal. And the Hornets have a date with the W&L Generals this Saturday.
Great job by the Hornets. Obviously, with Roanoke, your heart goes out to the Cameramans. A lot of these fifth-year guys who came back for a chance to make another run this year. They had a tremendous season. Now they have to play the waiting game. It's going to be a long shot, but I don't think it's completely out of the question that they can get into the NCAA tournament. They're just going to need a lot of things to go their way.
Yeah, I think both squads certainly still have a chance, but this win certainly bolsters Lynchburg's resume. Despite it being a team they've already beaten tonight, they do it ×4. Rather than a 1-goal victory, it's a 4-goal victory. And you have a chance to take down the #1 seeded Washington and Lee Generals on the road in Lexington. Obviously, a win punches your ticket with an automatic bid, but certainly right on the cusp of that bubble. The Hornets, all eyes on postseason play. It was a fun one, Chris. Roanoke with a great battle. You got to tip your caps, like you said, to the Cameramans and company. Obviously, Pilot has a very well-coached group that will cause problems in years to come. But tonight was a night for Lynchburg, and certainly a night for Andrew Miller with a career high in saves.
Yeah, and in all honesty, that is the difference. 21 saves to 10 saves. Not to say that Schwartz didn't play well. Andrew Miller just stood on his head. Sort of like in playoff hockey, when you get a goalie that starts standing on his head, he can steal games. And I really got to say that Andrew Miller stole the game today. Not that the offense didn't play fantastic for Lynchburg, but Andrew Miller was the star of the show.
Well, that should do it for us here on Schellenberger Field. We appreciate you spending your Thursday night with us. And a thank you to our whole camera crew tonight in Michael Ham, Landon Spots, Brian Flowers, Kevin Nestor, and, of course, our men in the production room with Jonathan Faust, Ethan Maratsky. Big-time work for us this evening. Well, that'll do it this season from Schellenberger Field. The Hornets will take on the Washington and Lee Generals this Saturday from Lexington. Till next time, thank you, and have a good one.